Hello and welcome to the pain and pleasure of living a life on purpose. Today I'm joined by Kaye van der Straten, all the way from Kaye, and thankfully to social media and things, I've connected with Kaye and discovered that she's kind of just an hour up the road from me, and she's like a kindred spirit really, because the environment and all things natural are really close to both our hearts. She has a background in marine biology, which has helped her in her current journey. So, hello, Kaye. Lovely to have you with us.
Hi, Philippa. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Now, I believe that you're running a kombucha or Buccha business now at the moment, and talking to you earlier that I thought you'd been running it for a number of years, but it's been only 8 weeks.
It's been only 8 weeks, yeah. So it feels like 8 years. But it's only been 8 weeks. I had to check in with myself the other day and go, whoa, hang on a minute. All right. Okay, well, all right, let's just keep going.
Awesome. That's really fantastic. Now, I know a lot of people out there just think kombucha is kind of, a fad thing, and it looks really random because it's got this Scooby in it, which looks kind of yucky.
Oh, very creepy. Yeah, no, very sinister indeed.
Can you tell us a bit more about what kombucha is?
Right. So kombucha is it's a little bit like if ginger beer was made from green tea, right? A little bit. So it's a product where what I do is I brew mine specifically from green tea. So I take a sweetened green tea, I add my special ingredient to it, special ingredient in there, and then I put it into the kombucha plant, which has the SCOBY in it. Now, SCOBY is a symbiotic colony of bacteria and yeasts, and it's something that humans have been brewing for well over 2,000 years. So the fact that we are so removed from kombucha being something that's been around since the dawn of our days is quite astounding, and I think maybe is a good indication of how separated we've come from our food and our food's beginnings. So yeah, it's something we've been doing for a very, very long time. So yeah, the green tea sits in the glass urn with the SCOBY, and over time, the green tea is fermented by the bacteria and yeasts. So the yeasts convert the sugars into alcohols, and in the process they release some good things like amino acids and enzymes. And then the bacteria take the alcohols and other products and convert them into more amino acids and enzymes. And because I make mine from green tea, it's also full of antioxidants. So the resulting kombucha is something that is, it's a probiotic. It's full of beneficial yeast. It's unpasteurized. So all of these cultures are still alive in there. And when you pop that into your GI tract, it's a little bit like eating yogurt, for example. And it helps populate our systems with bacteria and yeast that we really need in order to digest our food and extract nutrients and stimulate immune system and do all of those things that keep us really, really healthy. So it helps enhance your overall body health.
So how on earth did you get into doing it?
Yeah, wow, exactly. I've always loved playing around with food in the kitchen. Didn't want a career in food, but I like playing around in the kitchen. And so the combination of playing around in the kitchen and a microbial culture like kombucha with a symbiotic colony of bacteria and yeast really spoke to me as a biologist.
Right.
It's a practice that I went, ooh, this could be fun. What can I do with this? But I was working overseas as a marine biologist, and I met a really handsome man from Sweden, and we connected and started our life together, and I fell pregnant with our beautiful baby boy. But while I was pregnant, I got quite sick, without going into too much detail, but towards the end of my pregnancy, after I'd had our little boy, we discovered that I developed an autoimmune disease in my body. And so my autoimmune disease was attacking my thyroid gland and also affecting my adrenal glands. And I was dealing with a very long list of symptoms, which left me a pretty fragile shell of who I was before I got pregnant. I couldn't cope with life very well. I was asleep most of the time. I wasn't coping with looking after my big boy or my baby boy, or myself. So I needed to fix that very quickly and get my quality of life back. I went to the doctor, discovered that I had this autoimmune disease, and started on some hormone replaced therapy, which helped with some of the symptoms, but by no means all. Right. And still left me feeling pretty unwell, overweight, exhausted, hair still falling out, high levels of pain in my body, and generally not much fun to be around someone like that, you know. Your friends start disappearing, you're a bit of hard work, you know, and you can't do anything fun. So it's not a great place to be for people. And I rejected the doctor's advice that nothing more could be done. I thought about it a lot. Yeah. And I was pretty furious about it. I wanted to be myself. I wanted to keep up with my little boy, my beautiful baby, and I wanted to do all these things with him. I want to take paddleboarding. I want to go camping, and I want to do all these things that I would normally do in my life with my boys. And I thought about the autoimmune disease and how if my immune system has somehow, you know, got mistaken. I don't know how that's happened, but it's got mistaken along the ways, and it started recognizing my healthy tissue as not self and attacking it. Then I don't believe the medical profession when they say that that's it, you're going to be like that forever. I think that must be able to be unlearnt. Yep. In some way.
So the scientist in you came out.
Yeah, with fury. Yeah, she was like, hang on a minute. I smell a little bit of bullshit. Or I smell something that you haven't, you know, the medical profession hasn't figured out yet. Okay.
Yep.
We don't know everything. No way do we know everything. We know a lot, but we don't know it all. So I wasn't going to be resigned to that. No, it was just a furious no. So I did a lot of research, and I kept coming up with nothing. I was trying everything. I spent a lot of money on supplements and chiropractors and osteopaths and all kinds of different treatments, naturopaths, etc. And some things worked a little bit, you know, but nothing really made a big dent in how I was feeling. And eventually I found a group of women online, mostly in the United States, who had autoimmune diseases, and were talking about a lifestyle protocol that they were following, which had changed their lives and promoted a lot of healing, and in some cases actually reverse their diseases completely. So they now had, you know, some now have no symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis anymore.
Right.
Others have completely stopped taking the medication from the doctors. And I thought, wow, that sounds
hopeful,
but, you know, like anything, you don't want it to be, you know, too good to be true. I'm still suspicious and still cynical a little bit, you know, still skeptical, I guess, as a scientist. I'm like, okay, so I did a lot more research into it and looked into it, and the changes that they were proposing were extensive, and I was a bit scared by them, to be honest, and it took me probably another 6 or 7 months before I actually committed to that process.
So what part was scary?
It was just such a radical change in normal eating.
Right.
So today, most people really do rely on the food industry, and this was taking it right back. It was peeling it right back to how our great-grandparents and our great-great-grandparents ate. So it was fresh foods, and it was taking out all grains, including corn and rice, taking out all dairy, taking out all beans and legumes, nuts and seeds, and just taking out a really long list of things. Eggs were gone, massive list of things, and then adding in lots of meat, lots of fresh fruit and vegetables, not so much fruit, sorry. No nightshades. Well, I couldn't have any potatoes or tomatoes, and these are cornerstones of our diet, even when we think it's healthy. So, but all of these foods were taken out because they have some form of some characteristic about them that can be inflammatory.
Yes.
So the idea is to remove everything that's inflammatory in the body and get your body back to a baseline where there's no, you're not introducing things that are going to upset the system. And then it adds in a lot of foods. Sorry.
Is this the alkaline and the acidity that a lot of our diets nowadays, there's a lot of acid in, which actually disrupts the immune system?
Yeah, that doesn't come into it so much, I think, because they don't concentrate on the acid-alkaline balance in this protocol, because everything naturally comes into play. So some people who start on the autoimmune diet are really underweight, and some people who start on the autoimmune diet are really overweight.
Oh.
And weight will come down and weight will go up. Like, people just tend to naturally gravitate towards a healthy zone.
Right.
And then the other thing is, so you take foods out, but that's not, shouldn't be the focus. I shouldn't even lead with that. What they do is they add foods in.
Right.
So they add foods in like really healthy whole fats, gelatin, making bone broth, eating offal, all these things that are really nutrient-dense foods and promote healing.
Right.
And adding fermented foods, and a wide range of fermented foods, and that adds in your probiotics and your beneficial yeast, and a really wide range of those probiotic bacteria, and they get into your gut and heal your gut and stimulate your immune system, and next thing you know, you're feeling like Wonder Woman.
So it's a whole lot of learning as well. As you say, it's like unlearning what you do automatically. You go shopping and you put X, Y, and Z in, and you've learned to cook X, Y, and Z. So you're going right back to the beginning and unlearning. And I know in an earlier discussion we talked about your body unlearning stuff. So there's a real parallel there, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a total parallel. So it's more like going back to peeling back the layers of human progression, I guess, in some respects. So I look at it, and I think my grandparents saw industrialization, right? And my parents saw globalization. Yeah. And now and my son are going to see, I'm seeing the beginnings of it. He's really going to see a return to localization. And I think that's not just in like commerce activities in the globe, that people are now going back to farmers markets and refusing something that's flying halfway around the world so that they can have strawberries in winter. That's one part of it, but it's going back to actual how we eat as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And actually it's eating according to the seasons of wherever we live.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
The rhythm of the body, isn't it? That whichever climate that we're in, we need to maintain that rhythm. So introducing something from another country, or growing something fast and pumping it through antibiotics because it pleases us. And it's the wisdom, isn't it? We're talking, some people think it's like alternative, but actually it is the traditional method. It's
traditional, yeah. So it's not alternative. It's a traditional. It's common sense. It's nose to tail. It's stem to root. So it's eating all parts of the plant. It's not relying on refrigeration. So refrigeration's only been around for since regularly since maybe the 1940s, 1930s.
Right.
So if you think about it, we had to preserve our foods with fermentation. And fermentation is it's prolific across all cultures of the globe, all climates. Fermentation was a way that we could take a big glut of food from the season and sustain it over time. Wow. And in doing that, we've got these microbial communities in there that our bodies have grown to adjust to live with. And the foods that we're putting in there are pre-digested, and the nutrients are more bioavailable through the process of fermentation. So fermented foods, for all the stink that they are, because they're pretty bongy, right, some of them, like blue cheese, for example, or sauerkraut, I think are probably really essential to our health. And I've found since introducing those foods to my health, it's not the only thing though, but it's one of the things that I do. Introducing those foods, and when I drop those foods out, if I go away on holiday and if I don't drink my kombucha and I don't eat my sauerkraut and bits and pieces like that, I start to get some symptoms back after a week or two. Yeah, so I think, to me, in my body, they're really important.
And so you started this basically for you?
Started it for me, absolutely started it for me. Tasted some kombuchas around the place and thought, yeah, it's all right, I'll give it a go. And then came home and started playing around with it and going, actually, this is quite nice. I've got this little thing living in my kitchen, and it's alive, and I can watch it move and change and breathe, and I can hear it bubbling away, and it becomes a bit of a pet, actually, if anything. And then playing around with the different flavors, and it's really enjoying that process of having my hands in my food. I've always liked being in the kitchen. I love gardening. I love having animals around. I've liked to feel connected to nature, and that was a way to bring nature into my kitchen. So I liked that.
Going back to your childhood, is there anything else? Because I can see the link with the marine biology. So is there anything else that in your childhood that you brought that has helped you, given you strength to be where you are today? Did your parents do the gardening, or your grandparents, or where did your food come?
Childhood is a big minefield. Yes, my mother's not a great cook, and my father wasn't such a great cook either, but my grandparents on both sides. On my father's side, his mother was a fabulous cook by all accounts. I never met her. She passed away before I was born, but she loved to cook, and she loved to be in the kitchen, and she was Dutch, so she was in Holland all her life. And my grandma, my nana on my mum's side, both nana and granddad were big gardeners, and she was always producing gluts of food in the kitchen, and she looked after me often when I was unwell as a kid. So I guess, it's in the genes a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit in the genes to get in there.
How did you get into my marine biology?
How did I get into marine biology? I grew up on horses and with dogs, and really enjoyed being with animals.
Yeah.
And I started my degree as an adult while I was working and traveling. I've always been a very diverse person. So while I was working traveling, I started my degree by correspondence with a really nice university in University of Queensland in Australia. And I was doing a Bachelor of Applied Science majoring in wildlife biology at the time. So I finished that course, but while I was doing that course, somebody took me out game fishing, and I saw a marlin for the first time. And I saw this giant, charismatic, megafauna, beautiful fish in the water that I was just amazed by. I just thought, what an amazing machine, how fast it could move. And it was, why did I not know more about this marlin fish? This is fabulous. And I started asking some fishermen, why, how old are they? Where do they go? Where do they live? Just some really simple biological questions, and they didn't have the answers. And so I started looking a little bit more deeper, and there was a whole lot of basic life history at that time of marlin that was poorly understood. And so as a postgraduate student, I moved to marine biology.
Wow.
And started answering some of those questions. Yeah.
You sound naturally curious.
Yeah. It's a nice way to put it. My mum might call it something else.
Yeah, well, I was saying to somebody the other day, it's the choice of words that we use and how we take them on, because somebody once said to me I was determined, and other people would say I was bloody minded. So I say to you, curious. So what was it that your mother called you?
She probably would have called me determined and bloody minded and stubborn as well, but I take it all as a compliment.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's all about perception, isn't it, really?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. There's probably frustration on her part.
Yes. Because she doesn't sound like, she's not the same character, and obviously everything in life resonates with us for a particular reason.
Yeah.
The purpose of this whole series is to help people see the dots, how everything is interconnected, and how we're each here. We're purposefully and consciously making a choice to do something, and actually it's really about helping ourselves, and in that process we're helping other people as well, aren't we?
Yeah, and if you learn how to do something well and you're getting good benefits for yourself, then you're almost obligated to share it in some way. And that's how, culinary traditions have happened over time. That's how we got cheese.
Yeah.
It's exactly that kind of thing. How we got bread, all of those things. Yeah.
Well, talking of cheese, because I was brought up on a farm in England, and Mum, there was excess milk from the house cow, and so Mum decided that she'd go and do a course how to make cheese, and so it ended up she opened a cheese shop, and we had like 70 different cheeses. And
wow.
Standing there at the age of 13, stirring the curds and whey and making cheese and yogurts and
getting your hands in there, and
lovely, and butter. And I can remember, we used to get all the offcuts and moldy cheese in the house. So it's probably why my immune system's so strong, because I got all that bacteria.
Got all those good bugs in there. That's right, and they'll be well cemented in your population in your gut. And yeah, that's right. Very good.
And I think today's society is so clean. All these antibacteria wipes and things like that. It's just go and stick your child outside and play in the mud, I think. That'll
that's right. And when they do that, the lactic acid bacteria are everywhere on the plants, and that's exactly what you bring in culture when you do sauerkraut.
Right.
And so that's exactly right. That's exactly right. You're stimulating your immune system, and these bacteria have co-evolved with us as well. And so they've co-evolved with us, these bacteria and germs out there. So they have adapted that, they do very, very well when they're living inside our guts, but they want to make sure that we do well as well. So it's one of those symbiotic relationships.
Yeah.
So they help us and we help them.
Oh, fantastic. So how did you go from doing your kombucha for yourself to actually creating a business?
I'm not sure. It just kind of happened.
It's just like friends saying, this is really cool.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So I'm making kombucha, and then people come over and they go, what is that? What's that on your counter? I'm like, oh, it's kombucha. Have a try. Oh, that's quite nice,
Right.
And then when I started making a kombucha that tasted quite good, it took some time, then, they would be to those people who are like, come and try this, taste this. And they're like, oh, that's actually really good. Can I have a bottle? Okay, you can have a bottle. Can I have, and then I've just given it to my mate. She wants a bottle too, or he wants a bottle as well. Yeah. You should start selling this, okay? And I'm like, oh, nah, don't be ridiculous. No, I can't do that. And then it just keeps going. And you think, oh, well, all right, I'll give it a go. So I started making it just for friends and interested people in a really small word of mouth community, and just thought, well, I'll play around with bottling it and labels and see if they like it and see if it continues. Like maybe they're just, oh yeah, I like a bottle, it'd be great, and I never hear from them again, Next thing I know, I'm making 100 bottles a week. I'm at the markets and it's on Facebook, and I've got some wholesale stockists already, and it's just growing like that. So I think it's a good product. It tastes nice. A lot of kombucha doesn't taste that nice. It tastes more like vinegar. And mine doesn't taste like.
I think I've tasted a couple of them, and it's great to have friends who are prepared to be guinea pigs, and your natural curiosity is not giving up and trying all those different flavors and things like that, and with your knowledge of the benefits of certain foods. So what kind of flavors do you put in? Because I guess they're not secret because they'll be on the label, eh?
Yeah, no, they're not secret. No, so I try to keep true to the tea. So even though I call it Buccha Juice is the label that we've made for it, there is no juice in it. It's just tea. So I make the tea with just the kombucha with just the green tea as the base. So it's also got the added benefits of all the antioxidants from the green tea.
Yeah.
And it produces a really light and clear kombucha, which it's not so dry and tanniny as most other kombuchas you'll find on the market. So it's a bit different. So there's a point of difference there. And then I flavour it with herbal teas. And I select these herbal teas, and I'm making just 3 flavours at the moment that I really enjoy. I make a rosehip and hibiscus kombucha. So that's quite tarty. and it's a little bit more dry, and so it's a drier palate. It's my favorite. I quite like that one. I put that one in a wine glass at night with a bit of soda water, and that's my tipple.
It sounds like, you know, the alternative to the wine industry.
Yeah, it totally is. It's a soft drink alternative. It's an alcohol alternative. It's a, you know, it's a probiotic. There's a lot of roles it can fill. So yeah, so I make the rosehip and hibiscus. I make another one is apple and elderflower. And so that's soft and smooth and suits most people. And if people are new to kombucha, I would recommend they start with that one. And then I make the last one I make is a mint and chamomile. So it's refreshing with slight hints of earthiness underneath it. Not a lot of chamomile because chamomile can be a bit overpowering. But yeah, more minty, just a touch chamomile. Yeah.
Fantastic. So have you got any more in the pipeline, or are you still like a little pharmacy in your kitchen?
I'm just going to establish myself with these 3 flavors that I know are good.
Yeah.
For now, we're building a little brewing premises at the moment. So we're going to kit that out. And from that point, once we've got this underway and rolling nicely, then yeah, I'd like to play with some feijoa, and I'd like to play with maybe a Christmas flavor and do some seasonal things, but stay with my 3 sound flavors that I like.
Awesome, awesome. So obviously your health is infinitely better, and this has really helped.
Yeah, so back to that kind of story, following that autoimmune protocol diet was adding a lot of the fermented foods and the offals and really nutrient dense foods into your diet, and doing that has alleviated, I'd say, close to 90% of my symptoms.
Wow.
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty sharp. Like I can't really complain about it anymore at all. I'm doing pretty well. Yeah.
So did you at any time feel like giving up? Because I get it must have been a roller coaster ride between making this change in diet and believing that it was going to work.
That 4-month period of feeling worse.
Right.
Yeah, because you do actually feel worse. So when I was suddenly adding in all of these fermented foods to my gut and all this nutrient dense food, they call it a healing crisis.
Right.
So my body went, whoa, and just started dumping out a whole lot of toxins.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
The theory behind that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt pretty rotten, to be fair. And then I was dealing with a lot of really uncomfortable symptoms around that, particularly digestion, gaseous symptoms that went on for a long time. I was very glad I wasn't having to go to work every day.
Right. Yeah.
Put it that way, because it was pretty uncomfortable. But yeah, once that period of healing had gone past, I just felt like $1 million, and it was like night and day.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trail running again. I did the Bay of Islands Beast last year, which is a big 8-kilometer mud run, and you know, paddleboarding again. I went surfing a couple of weekends ago for the first time since having my little boy, and yeah, we're there.
Wow. So it's been about a journey of about 4 years?
Yep, definitely 4 years, possibly closer to 5. From when I was 3 months pregnant, things started to go downhill. Yeah.
And to me, from the outside, it's a sign that you know, your pregnancy would have shifted a lot of hormones inside the body. So it's really the body talks, doesn't it? And it's about listening to that body. And you know, if you'd known then what you know now, it would have been more of an alert to do something, as opposed to the spiral or just accepting. Maybe it was just like, oh, this is what happens in pregnancy, perhaps, was it?
Yeah, so my body was screaming at me. That was not easy to ignore. I have another condition which causes me to be extremely hypermobile in my joints. So that has been with me all my life, and I've known that if I keep myself fit and low weight, I tend to be pretty good. I don't get a lot of injuries. But if I lose my fitness or lose my core strength, or I try to pick up a heavy backpack, for example, then I'll do my neck or do my back, or something like that will happen really quickly. And so I always suspected that when I got pregnant, if I got pregnant, I would have had some trouble, and I thought it maybe around about 8 months I would be struggling. I'd probably be pretty uncomfortable with carrying all that inside my body frame. But as it turns out, that happened at 3 months. So from 3 months pregnant, I couldn't sit down anymore. My pelvis essentially started to collapse because of the part of your body starting to, right about 3 months, your body starts pumping out a hormone called relaxin. And that is to relax all of your ligaments and your soft tissues even more, to expand for the movement of your pelvis and bits and pieces. Because mine's already soft, it became really soft. So in short, easiest way of saying it is my pelvis just couldn't hold its form at all. And so I was in incredible amounts of pain for a very long time. And I had to have a cesarean, and I had to have a general anaesthetic cesarean, so I wasn't there for the birth of my baby, which was a bit sad.
But the thing is that you're both here.
Yeah, exactly. And he was fine, and despite the massive amounts of medication, pain medication I was on during my pregnancy to cope with it, he hasn't been born with any adverse effects. He wasn't addicted to tramadol, thank God. I was pretty worried about that.
Yeah.
And yeah, after having him, it took a long time to try and pull my body back into line, and then to have developed an autoimmune disease and have adrenal glands that were just completely causing me a whole other level of concern. It would just, it was a house of cards falling down. So not great.
No, but you're a very, very strong woman, and a good role model for the series, and all the pain that, the body's amazing, isn't it? The signals that it gives us. And so
it was a strong signal. Couldn't ignore that one.
You listened, and you were obviously, you had the privilege of being curious and had a scientific brain. And so all that had come before you.
Yeah, curious and furious. I wasn't happy about it, and I didn't want, I didn't want to accept it. I did not want to be on the couch resigned to what the doctors told me I was going to be resigned to. Yeah. I remember going to see a specialist. What do you call them? The hormone specialist people, endocrinologist.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the endocrinologist is the endocrine system, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. So I went to see him, and I was probably about 15, 17 kilos over my weight at the time, of my standard weight where I should be. And because I have this pre-existing condition in my body, being overweight is a big deal. It's a big deal, and I injure really easily, and it's very painful for me to carry that weight around on my frame. And I'd said to him, look, I'm really concerned about my weight. I am eating like a sparrow, I'm breastfeeding, and I'm putting on weight. Like, I know how many calories I'm eating. I know how many calories I'm putting out. I can't figure out why I can still be putting on weight. And he said, well, and he looked at me and he goes, well, you've got a thyroid condition, so that's why. And you're not anywhere near as overweight as some of my other patients, so no, we don't need to deal with this with you.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, you shit. Like, this is a big deal for me. Okay, so I'm 80 kilos, not 120 kilos, but 80 kilos for me comes with a lot of pain. And he just disregarded it. And I just walked out of there and I thought, there's no point going back to see people like that. It was a waste of time, it was a waste of money. Waste of his time, waste of my time.
Fire in your belly, hey?
Just made me mad. I just thought, that's not the right answer for somebody who is meant to be in the healing profession.
And I think, from listening to your story, and a lot of people, it's the doctors are great because they can help, but they don't have a lot of different perspectives. They have the route that they've gone down, and if that's right for you, fine. But as you say, it's about being honoured, valued, listened to for what it is, what we are going through at that time, whether it happens to be a physical pain, a mental pain, emotional pain, or whatever it is. It's so important to listen to it.
And validated, yeah.
Absolutely, being validated, and find the root cause. And so, in knowing what you know now, is there any advice that you would give your childhood self?
yeah, I guess, look, stay curious and be furious sometimes, and allow those emotions to guide you.
Yeah.
Not to react when you're in those moments, but to let them guide you to how to react. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yeah, yeah. Listen to your body. Yeah.
Yeah, listen to your body. So you can be curious, you can be furious, and all of those things. That's great. Don't react and lash out. That's not what I mean. But what I mean is pay attention when you have strong feelings in your body, whether it's in your mind or in your bones. Pay attention.
Yeah.
Think about it, digest it, and then take some action about it.
Excellent. And it's internal wisdom, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Trust yourself. Back yourself.
Yeah,
you've got this.
Yes. Absolutely, absolutely fantastic. Well, I know you're a busy woman, and you've got some things brewing in the background. So thank you very much.
Hear them? They are bubbling away back there.
Maybe that's your gaseous problem.
Yeah, maybe. Yes.
Thank you, Kaye. Lovely to meet you. Take care.
Thanks, Philippa. Bye.